Hey there, GM Jim from Wizards and Wordslingers here with another video chock full of GM tips. Let's talk about game mechanics you can steal from other RPGs to add into your Dungeons & Dragons game. Today I want to talk about my favorite crunchy heist game, Blades in the Dark. Now anytime you say you want to run a heist session, Blades lovers will inevitably pop up and say that it's a much better system for running heists than 5e. And while this is probably true if you're just looking to run a one-shot or a short campaign for your existing 5e or Pathfinder group, learning a whole new system is a big ask for everyone at the table. It's often much better just to hack your preferred system to do the thing that you want it to do. But you, GM, should absolutely absorb lessons from other RPGs, and Blades has some killer mechanics you can steal and drop into your game with a little bit of adjustment. Let's talk about it. And while I'm going to give you the skinny on the best bits, you should absolutely buy and read this game, then add it to your shelf collection. It's worth your money. Check out below for a link. The first mechanic I want to discuss is progress clocks. The book text says, draw a progress clock when you need to track ongoing effort against an obstacle or the approach of impending trouble. This is a way to manage all those spinning plates you, as the GM, have to keep track of. In my video on how to make a killer villain, I talked about giving your BBEG a 5-step plan. This fits right into that and is a great way for you to track your villain's progress toward making their ultimate goal. We use clocks in a more literal sense when we tell players that the world will blow up in 7 days if they don't take action to stop the big bad thing on the horizon. Each day in that week is another segment of the clock filling in. As the author of over 24 thriller novels, I know full well how a ticking clock can add a lot of tension and excitement to a story. I use a version of the progress clock with BBEG time tracking. I keep track of how much in-game time has moved each session, and I give the villain goals and timelines. For example, if 20 days of in-game time have elapsed since the campaign started, then I know the villain will pressure the town council on day 22. If that goes according to plan, the villain will poison the town water supply on day 24. Then the villain will enter the catacombs under the town on day 27, etc. Of course, during the sessions, the PCs do things to mess with the villain's plan, so I'm constantly reevaluating the timeline and shifting the villain's micro goals. A clock works in the same way. Maybe you know the villain needs to accomplish 4 or 6 or 8 small goals before they can pressure the town council. So you start a clock, one you'll probably not show to your players, and use that to keep track of how much progress the villain is making. This probably won't affect how the actual sessions flow, but it's just a way for you to stay organized, especially if you have more than one villain or the villain is moving things on multiple fronts. Tracking current and planned story beats will help maintain your sanity. Trust me. In the Lord of the Rings TV show, the elves have a clock in the form of the leaves falling off the sacred tree. If the last leaf falls, they'll be hosed and everything is ruined. At least I think that's how it happened. This is basically a progress clock with a fancy visual representation. Feel free to use things like this instead of just showing your players a pie chart. Another mechanic I love from Blades is that downtime is very systematized. In 5e, you just go to sleep and your wounds are miraculously healed every morning. Even in grittier editions of the game, you just have to sleep multiple times over several days to achieve the same effect. But what if you want to gamify getting those HP or other resources back? Blades uses stress and wounds instead of HP, and also each PC has a vice, and indulging that vice is the way to reduce stress levels and get back to full health. This won't work if you're running a gritty, always forward dungeon crawl, but if you're running the kind of campaign where your PCs go out for an adventure, then stop in a town or camp in the woods to recuperate, this works perfectly. Let each player pick their own downtime activity as a quote-unquote vice, whether that's gambling, carousing, charity work, arrow crafting, armor repair, research, etc. Whatever it is, you can tie it to regaining HP, spell slots, or hit dice. I think when you can marry mechanics to downtime activities, it forces the players to be more creative than kill monsters, get treasure, sleep it off, do it again. Not that there's anything wrong with that if that's how your group likes to play. Next, let's talk about the devil's bargain. Have you ever set a DC of 15, then watch the player roll a 14 and see the angst in their eyes when they realize how close they were to succeeding? What if I told you there was a way to let the PC succeed on that check while still getting to use your evil DM brain to add a complication to the scene? Introducing the Devil's Bargain. When a player gets close but doesn't meet a skill DC or an opponent's armor class, tell them you'll let them add 5 to the roll to retcon turn it into a success, but there will be a consequence for getting the bonus to the roll. You can tell them the consequence and then let them choose, or keep it a secret until after they say yes or no. Up to you. Or you could offer it before the roll in the form of advantage. Some examples. You miss on your sword attack. The Devil's Bargain is that the miss turns into a hit, but you will slip and end up prone after the attack. Or, when the rope bridge over the chasm snaps and now you're hanging and the PC fails the dex saving throw to climb up. Let them turn it into a success, but the PC takes a level of exhaustion in the process. Or say you failed a stealth check to infiltrate a castle. The bargain undoes that failure, but now there are more guards ahead than the party had originally planned for. Now, these next 2 game elements are a little more iffy about working in 5e, and I'm sharing them more as things to think about than concrete mechanics to include. And those are the Flashback and Loadout. Blades has this anti-planning philosophy, since most of that planning time would just be wasted because plans always get thrown out the window as soon as the mission starts. Like the saying goes, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. So in Blades, there's little or no pre-mission scheming. You gather some basic intel, then usually start right outside the building you're about to infiltrate with the heist already underway. And flashbacks are a chief way to make this work. Say you pick the lock to the kitchen, open the door, and there's a snarling Rottweiler waiting for you. If you're able, you can have a flashback where you bribed a guard the day before to learn about this dog, and now you're prepared with beef jerky in your pocket. There's a roll. If you succeed, you did this. If you fail, no jerky for you. In 5e, I think you'd want to use this very sparingly because it could be a way to get out of problems too easily. Maybe each PC gets 1 flashback they can use like inspiration per 1d4 long rests, or something like that. Loadout is another retroactive game mechanic. Instead of saying, I need rope, lockpicks, a block and tackle, etc. before the mission starts, you choose your load items as you need them during the adventure, with a limited number of slots you can fill. I've done a version of this in 5e when a player says something like, oh, we should have grabbed that poker from the fireplace when we were in that room. It'd be so handy now. I'll let them roll the d6. On a 4 to 6, yes, they actually did remember to grab that fireplace poker, but I'll probably add a new complication to balance out this stroke of luck. And since 5e inventory doesn't work the same way as it does in Blades, I would also use this technique very sparingly. So there you go, a few tips for you DMs and GMs to spice up your game with Blades in the Dark mechanics. Let me know in the comments what else you like to steal from Blades, and support the developer of this game by buying a copy. Link below. The game's default setting of Duskval is so cool it's worth a purchase just for that. Now go run good games.